Hello, I'm Toby and today I'll be talking about Kodak's Colorplus film. Considering my favourite film is Fuji Velvia 50, which is now a whopping £18 per roll, I always tended to have a couple rolls of Kodak Colorplus in my bag instead. Coming in at just under £4 a roll, if you can find it online at least. It's not bad at all. And of course I'm not comparing apples to apples here. Fuji Velvia is a positive film which gives you a positive image rather than a negative, and is also much higher in sharpness, contrast, and saturation also. I used Colorplus throughout the entire process of learning film photography just because I could pick it up so easily. My local print shop always had it in stock, so I never found any difficulty just grabbing a quick roll. As these shots were taken a long time ago, my digital camera at the time was something along the lines of a D70, like a 6 megapixel SLR. Using the Colorplus film alongside an Olympus OM1, which I still use to this day, the quality was just so much better when it was scanned properly. So I've taken a lot of shots using this film with Olympus Trip 35. The shutter is broken on this camera. So in terms of point and shoot cameras, I really wouldn't look past the Olympus Trip 35. In just its small form factor and the sharpness of the lens, it's so good for cheap films, expensive films, anything. I have had a couple problems with this camera jamming. I've had to rip a few rolls of film out of it in the past. Luckily though, I never put anything expensive through here. It's predominantly Colorplus or some HP5. And because I like to be more accurate in my photos these days, I switched to my Olympus OM1. This here is with the 55 1.2 lens, so it's an incredibly sharp lens that goes all the way down to 1.2, so you can shoot more or less in pitch black. I've got some Ilford 3200 Delta in here at the moment, so I'll be doing a video on that at some point soon. But most of the shots, certainly the more recent shots I've taken with Colorplus, have been on the Olympus OM1. Just because I can get a perfect sharpness. It's got a huge viewfinder, and I've just replaced the viewfinder as well for a matte focusing screen. So if you are picking up an OM1, I do recommend you get one of those matte focusing screens. They are really helpful. I've seen best results with my Olympus OM1. However, I have used this on all my film cameras. I've used it on my Olympus Trip, my Canon EOS 1. So every film camera I've owned has had this film put through it, and it's shone on every single camera. Just because I've had it in my camera so often to other films, some of the best shots I feel I've ever taken have been on this film, and it's done these images profound justice. I am more of a black and white photographer. I do prefer the tones, especially with film. That's the reason why I shoot camera film, is because black and white looks so much better on film than it does on digital. You just cannot replicate those tones at all. So I find you can put this film in almost any point and shoot camera, as long as it's half decent and it's got an okay lens. You will get just as good results on Olympus Trip 35 that you may get on a EOS 1. It's also worth mentioning that it is quite grainy for a 200 ISO film. If you want a lot of sharpness, I would recommend Portra 160, or even going a transparency film like Fuji Velvia or Provia Ektachrome. Those films will give you better results, but don't forget they are almost 4 times as expensive. So having used this film quite a lot, I did have one roll left over that I found in one of my old boxes. So without hesitation, I did throw this in my Olympus OM1 and went round the coast and see what I could get. I'll admit sometimes the coast does get a little bit boring, so a lot of these pictures are of my cats. They're great subjects to try and photograph. They're really difficult with film because they move so much. If you just want to take nice colour film photos, I honestly wouldn't use any other colour negative. It's the best I can think of that's anywhere close to that price. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, the link to my website is in the description below. Have a good one. See you later.